It is very clear in every single part of this country. The citizenry of Guyana, we are tired, the citizens are tired of how the PPP has run this country. They ran this country right down to the ground. And it is the responsibility of you and I to bring this country back to a place of a glorious state. It will happen. Many people have asked themselves, what is this whole question? They hear us talking about how corrupt this government is. And I say you must understand that when we talk about corruption, we are talking about an administration that is dishonest. We're talking about an administration that is fraudulent. We're talking about an administration that continues in every regard to disrespect the people of this country. Now, you see the thing with them is that their own people, their own people in their own corner are beginning to day by day expose them. I mentioned today that, you see today that the president talked, the Barrett Jacteo talked. You see, I continue to mix him up. I continue to mix him up as president because for more than 4 years, we were confused as to who really was the president of this country. Was it Ali or was it Barrett Jacteo? So sometimes you hear me saying Barrett Jacteo, the president. But let me tell you something. Irfan Ali, every time you hear some form of corruption in this country, the president's name always is mentioned. That he has knowledge of it, that he is aware, and it's embarrassing. Mary Mel exposed a recording, and it's all over social media, where one person is telling her that the minister of government took land. Irfan was upset that she took that amount of land, and he said, by morning you must make it right. But you know what she did? She didn't make it right for the people of Guyana. She made it right for her own pocket. She sold the land for $1 million US. And I have asked the question, where is that money? The persons who bought that land confessed that they bought the land. Now imagine state resources, land which belongs to us, benefits if the land is sold, which ought to come to the people of this country, doesn't come to the people, goes into her pocket. But listen the name of the person who is aware that his own minister within the government is conducting a fraudulent act. Irfan Ali. You have a citizen of the country making plans to rob the state of taxes. Who does he call? He calls and texts the president. How to get out the taxes. Then when they are exposed, the president is saying, that's not the paper you show me. Irfan said, that's not the paper you show me. That's not the amount you show me. He is jumping on the other hand and he's saying, you say anything and I can expose our conversation. And that is how they have us in this country. Two people are saying, you talk first. I can show the world what is the conversation we had. And then he said, you talk. Listen, this is only an example of how corrupt this government has been, and every single area in which every single project that they've put their hands to, it has not been done in the best interest of our people. They talk, Barrett Jagdeo. I know you're accustomed hearing him as the rat. He jumped on a program and he attempted to compare money spent under the previous APNU AFC government, comparing it to now this present PPPC government. But listen to me, citizens, we are not naive, we are not fooled, because the comparisons cannot be done. We did and we saw done under the APNU government from since 2015 a better managed project without oil money. Without oil money. So when you count that up to over $200 billion, that cannot be compared to what they spent a year of over 1 trillion Guyana dollars. But you have to ask yourself, you ask for the evidence of corruption, you have to ask yourself, do you have value for the money spent? Can you tangibly see $1 trillion a year spent in this country? Do you tangibly feel $1 trillion economy in your pocket? In just 6 months this year, 6 months, over $1.5 trillion pass, spent 6 months. They come back again for a supplementary budget in 3 months and calling for over 50-something billion Guyana dollars. Now you have to be careful. I have said repeatedly, there is nothing like free money. This is hard-earned taxpayers' money. And whether they are spending oil money or they are borrowing money to spend, you will have to pay that back. And when you cannot pay that, when you are finished paying that back, your children's children will pay that back. Your children's children will pay that back. So there is nothing like free money. The problem is not borrowing. The problem remains that you must have quality for money. And that is why we continue to say there is wastage left, right, and center under the PPP government. Over 50% of everything that they have touched, there is wastage. Corruption, gone in corruption. Comrades, I say to you, Guyana is not a safe place. It is not a safe place. Under the PPPC's government, they have continued to not only destabilize the security of this country, but they have made the citizens of this country to be unsafe. There are laws in this country. And I've said, and I will tell you tonight, the law is clear. There are only 2 grounds on which the police can arrest you. The police can arrest you if they see that you're committing an offense, or if you are about to commit an offense. Everything outside of that, the police need a warrant of arrest. They need a warrant of search. But you don't find that. You find a blatant disregard for our citizens in this country, in which they barge into your homes, in which they kick down your homes, in which they always attempt to effect an arrest without following the law. And you asked me, for over 4 years, this has been escalating. You have the Attorney General who still kept the books. He didn't answer for the books. He did not answer for the books. So the time that he was keeping the books for 4 years, why did he not read the book? Because it would have been clear for him to give advice to the police that what they're doing to our citizens of this country were wrong. Look at Orrin Boston, shot and killed in his home. When we look at what the police, and listen to me, this is clear evidence that you can go and fact check. They are misplaced members in every part of this country. The people who are trained and have the necessary skills are not the people doing the job. That is because the PPP has continued to have and encourage a force that is politicized. So when you politicize a force, it means that you have to keep people in the positions so that they can benefit you, so that they can benefit your friends and family. So you don't have competent people in various departments of the force. And that is why you continue to have chaos in this country when it comes to the security sector. Because the people who are placed with the responsibility don't know anything what they're doing. They don't know anything what they're doing. That is why you find this level of brutality. That is why you find this level of incompetence when it comes to investigating crimes. Look how embarrassing it was in the entire fiasco of the Henry boys. They could not, and even now, they have not investigated that matter properly. And we are not fooled. We are not fooled by the people they pick up and they put before the court. But I will tell you, under the APNU government, there is going to be an investigation, the reopening of the investigation, and a proper investigation relating to all the unsolved murders in this country. It will not go unanswered. Look at the harassing, poor investigation. I keep saying to people that the Adriana Young matter is not a matter in isolation. It is a matter that highlights a graduation of incompetence in the government of this country. It is a matter that highlights the level of corruption that we have. You have a commissioner of police who sits in the chair, but you must ask yourself, listen, you have been members of this country and members of the society for many years. Some of you, a lot of you are older than I am. Have you ever seen a commissioner of police, when it comes to all these crises and murders in this country, stay silent? Never. But this particular commissioner will never come out. You want to read a post-mortem report? You send Irfan Ali. You want to read some form of incomplete report by a Canadian retired investigator, and I say incomplete. I say incomplete because Irfan read that and said that the man found that the police did a phenomenal job and that there was no foul play in the matter. But the crime chief came back and contradicted the president and said that the matter is still active. The matter was not closed. Now, if you have a matter that is not closed, you must ask yourself, what kind of report? And you listen to me, there is no disclosure of any amount paid to this export. That man came for one reason, and that was to fool the people and bring the people mind as if, and try to play with your mind and make it seem as though the president and the government had done everything possible to ensure that the Adriana matter was investigated. But it wasn't investigated properly. There is no justice for that matter until now. And coming this election period, they will never allow an investigation to complete. Why? They don't want you to know what will be revealed. But I tell you, under the APNU government, there is going to be a thorough inquiry into the Adriana Young's matter. And we send a clear message. Not only the people who are culprits and are involved. Listen, all of us, big and bigger sense. All of us. And we will continue to thank Critic for going and doing that live. Because we all saw the pool. We all saw the pool, man. So they must still answer, even if she was placed in that pool, they must answer who placed her in that pool. Where did she come from? Who left her and put her there? We will get the answers. We will get the answers. And I want to tell you, this is not only the culprits who are on the property. This is very well going to extend to various persons, whether in the previous government or not. And I say previous government because the PPPC is coming out September 1st. So whether they were a part of helping to cover up, who called the president there? We don't know who called Afon there. Who told Afon to tell the parents to go home? We don't know who told them that. We don't know, but we're gonna find. Who told them to create a false narrative that this girl left in a red ram going up the road? We gonna tell we gonna find out. We gonna find out. And all the persons who have helped to cover up this heinous crime will face the full blunt of the law. We have to set a precedent because the children of this country must be safe. Parents, you must have that confidence that when your children go out, your children will return home safely. We will not allow this fright and this type of fear which lingers over our children in this country. We will remove it. I want to say to you that we have a very important task coming September 1st. You all have, we all have a role to play. This is not only for us here. We call on you and we command your support that you will act and speak to your young people. You will speak to your neighbors. You will speak to your family members. You will speak to your friends. You will speak to people in the marketplace that they have an important role to play this election. And your vote matters. Your vote matters. And when you put your vote, you are not putting your vote, and I want you to understand this and listen to this carefully. This is not a government. When you vote APNU, you're not voting for a political party only. You are voting for yourself. You are voting for yourself to play an active role in the development of this country. And that is why it is a people-centered government. That is why the initiative is going to be focused on people. because you are the important ones. We all have to come together to rescue this country. And if there is ever a time that we need to rescue this country, it is now. You and I need to think about, what are we really handing to the next generation? Are we going to hand to the next generation a country that is only prone to corruption and violence and inequality? No. Your children and your children's children, when they stand before you and they ask about you, they must remember that in the year 2025, you joined your hands with the only party that can assist you in rescuing this country. And that your name goes down as one who will be determined and be called a warrior, who stood up for what is right. And that is what we're talking about. Stand up. Don't allow the PPP to spread all those lies, corruption, rigging. I've called upon them to bring the evidence of rigging. They are the riggers. They are the riggers. And we, listen, we got eyes on them, you know. We know how they're using all those data that they took for the grant to call and to get your personal information. And we're watching them, you know. We're watching them. But they will not get away with it this time. You know, do y'all say the same thing in Barbies? This time in a long time. This time in a long time. This is a different time. And we beg, but we ain't stupid. We eyes open, and we will ensure that this corrupt regime is removed from office. Don't worry with any other party. Don't worry with any other party. When anybody felt the wind just now? What happened when you felt the wind? It passed, man. It passed. It passed. So that gonna pass. Don't worry about that. That gonna pass. That gonna pass. We're going to stay focused. We're going to stay focused. Any other vote is a wasted vote. Any other vote. There is only one vote, and that vote is for what? The palm. So I want to leave this simple message with you. Think about your future generation. Think about how you want to impact your children and your community. Think about what you are going to receive under this government. And I know right through the night you're going to be hearing of all the great plans that you are going to be a part of. When it comes to the issue of the increase for public servants, imagine how teachers had to come out and fight. Listen, aren't you tired in this country? Everything you got to fight for, man. You got to fight for. They're killing your children. They're killing your loved one. If you don't come out and protest, they're never starting an investigation. You want an increase, you got to come out and fight. Under the APNU, you wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Because your interest will be the government's interest. Your pains will be the government's pain. Your ideals will be the government's ideals. And we will ensure that we work together to ensure that we have a prosperous country. Things hard in this country. Poverty left, right, and center. I spoke to a man only yesterday at the car wash. And you will be amazed to know the level of experience and how qualified he is. And he's washing car. He said, you know why I'm washing car? Because I refuse to collect anything from the PPPC. why you refuse to collect anything from the PPPC. Is a young black brother, and his wife is a beautiful Indian girl. And when he went for a job at a certain place controlled by the PPPC, he was given all type of attitude. But when they saw the girl, all of the eyes light up. And all of a sudden, they said, "There's your husband? Well, here, we can give you the work. We can give you the contract to work. But what are you going to do for me?" And when he saw that level of disrespect, he said, "I will do it out." But that is the nature of the people under the PPPC. They're disrespectful. They don't mean well for our people. And they try in every single regard to establish a one-party state. Look, if you got a bright idea for business, look where you got to go. You got to go at a certain place on Rob Street. And you got to take out your picture, photo up. And if you don't do that, you don't get the man's hearing. But under the APNU government, we are going to invest in people who want to raise and who want to establish small businesses. We will ensure that grants and loans are available to you so that you can excel. We will not only leave you there, we will ensure that we provide the necessary skills and the necessary training so that your businesses will be successful. And you don't got to come and take out any picture. Because what we will be doing, we are doing and we are working with our own people. Barbies, I want to say this finally. Young people are very important to us. It is the future of this country. Don't look at the PPP's free education announcement and make it feel as though they have achieved something. They must tell us why for 20-something years they have violated the Constitution. Because free education is your obligation. It was an obligation, your constitutional right. And they have violated that. You're entitled to that. But under the APNU, you're not only going to have free education, we are going to also ensure that every student who attends the university or attends a training gets in their pocket $50,000 stipend so that it will encourage you to go to school and to learn and to educate yourself. That is a caring government. That is a caring government. It's not only sending you, but it's being concerned that in every regard, we give you the necessary encouragement and we give you the necessary support to ensure that you end successfully. I want to thank you tonight for listening. And I want to ask you one thing. Do you pledge, all across here, all persons here, and all of you watching, do you pledge that you will be a worker and you will ensure that you will not only keep the message of hope, you will not only keep the message in which will benefit you living, but you will sell this message to everyone you meet? Raise your hand and raise your palm. I want to say thank you and God bless you. And we end by saying, for what? For Guyana to grow, what must happen? The PPP must. And when the PPP will go, come September 1st, where we put in our X. I'll be doing it twice. Top and bottom. And what you're looking for? You're looking for the palm. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much and God bless you.
Big it up, pick up, big it up. You heard it tonight. The attorney was just reminding us that this election is the mother of all elections. Mother, father, picnic, grand picnic of all elections. Serious business. So we have a task to take up. We have the first time voters. We got to do some foot slugging. Teach them how to vote. Palm, top, and bottom. This is a period for proxy and also polling day workers. Ithaca, listen up. So we get things to do. All right. I want to bring on the next speaker. You see, Ithaca, I'm a big girl now. And I want to tell you my age tonight. I'm 71. Big girl now. So at some stage, you have to shift off and walk. So 2020, I did that. Shift and walk. And a young man from Region 5 took the mantle. Tonight, he's here. Qualified engineer. Right now, he's doing his master's. Brilliant young man. Shadowed agriculture minister. I didn't even want to call the name because I'm a tongue on thing tonight. Shadowed the agriculture minister in parliament from 2020 to recently. And so he's married, handsome, but he's married. And he has 2 kids. He's going to come tonight and tell us some things about Region 5, how we represented Region 5, how we talk from morning till night, day, clean, nothing. And that's the people them. So if you want a good life, come September 1. I need to say first. Come September 1. Ring a ticker bell. Come out early. And we know we got to do. Palm in the air, top and bottom. Let's bring on no other. Destroy children.
Thank you very much. MP Wade. Ithaca, good evening. Ithaca, good evening. All right. Tonight I just want to talk to you for a few minutes. And I want to begin by saying we will go to the polls. We will go to the polls. Ithaca, you hear me? I'm saying that we will go to the polls. But when we go to the polls, we must ensure that we look at the top of the ballot where it marks general and the first symbol, which is the APNU, it is right there on top. I'm saying this because I don't want you to waste time when you're going. And when you see APNU, as MP Wade said earlier, put the nice little sexy X. And when you go to the bottom for regional, again, APNU is the first party and the first symbol. And so you look for the palm and you put another little sexy X. And when you finish, you exit the polling place and ensure that others vote. When you do that, Ithaca, you will help to bring about the change that is needed and return the APNU to office, led by Aubrey Compton Norton and Joretta Finance, with a competent team that will put the people first. Ithaca, I'm here to set a few records straight. The People's Progressive Party Civic, they're going about saying to many that we did nothing for the people of Region 5. As a matter of fact, nationally they say it. But I want to stick to Region 5 tonight. And I'm going to zone into Ithaca. They said we did nothing for you from 2015 to 2020. And it is a mantra that they're going around with. And a few persons fall by the wayside. And they believe them. And some of them today, they are wearing the red shirts. But I want to say it, and say it loud and clear, that if Lloyd Downer My cousin Lloyda, and all of you would know Lloyda. If Lloyda could leave the People's Progressive Party Civic, then any one of them that is hearing me tonight can leave the People's Progressive Party Civic and vote for the coalition. Lloyda get cussed, Lloyda get beat up, Lloyda get locked up, Lloyda get all sorts of things for the PPP. And only now the PPP knows that Lloyda not only good for nothing, but that Lloyda black. Comrades, in 2015 when the coalition took office, we prioritized every single community on an equal basis. And Ithaca was no different. Under the APNU, we spent here in Ithaca over 330 million Guyana dollars in the RAID program, the Rural Infrastructure Agriculture Program. And we developed over 900 acres of farmlands. And those in Ithaca that knows about that, you can say, yeah, yeah. And the coalition ensure that we return agriculture to the people of Ithaca. When this wicked government, the same government that say we did nothing, when they took office, they came and removed the excavator, the bulldozer, and every other equipment that we bought under the coalition government. But I want to sound the alarm tonight, Ithaca, that when we take office come September 2nd, we will return all the machines to Ithaca and to the co-op society so that you can go back to the farm with the equipment that we bought for you. I am saying to you that when you vote, you are voting for the APNU, and more so Ithaca, when you vote, you are voting for me and all the others on the list of the APNU so that you can have in your own region the agricultural minister sitting in office to serve you, the people of Ithaca. They said that we did nothing between 2015 and 2020. I even heard the Minister of Health a few nights ago. He said that we didn't build not even one health center. But let me set the record straight again. When the coalition took office right here in Region 5, we not only built 2 health centers, but we developed all the health centers across this region. When we took office, we placed a resident doctor right here in Ithaca to serve the people. The very party that accused us of doing nothing, when they came to power, they removed the doctor from this health center. And today you are left without a resident doctor. I want to say to you again, Ithaca, that when we take office come September, we will return a resident doctor to the health center of Ithaca so that your healthcare needs could be met by a competent professional. Again, right here in Ithaca, in the year 2019, Ithaca Health Center was awarded by the Standard Division of the Ministry of Health, one of the best health centers in region number 5, scoring over 90% in that assessment. Those are some of the things that we did while we were in office. And so the PPP must not come to fool you, Ithaca. We built right here in Ithaca an early childhood development center, and the man who is the brainchild behind that will speak to you shortly. Further to that, under the coalition government, we ensured, because Ithaca, the water here has the highest iron content in all of West Bobby's, more so Region 5. And I can tell you, because I worked with the Water Incorporated, GWI, for 11 years. And so when we took office, we ensured that we began to treat the water. And so we were sequestering in Ithaca, and we brought the iron content down from what it was, and you begin to enjoy water to a certain level and to a certain quality. When the People's Progressive Party took office, they removed the equipment and all the apparatus that we were sequestering with, and they left you with the red water. My friends of Ithaca, I want to say to you, we left a plan to develop a proper treatment facility right here in Ithaca. To date, the PPP government has not yet properly completed that facility, more so to put it into operation to properly serve you. And that is the same government that is saying that we did nothing for you. Further to that, Ithaca, I want to say to you tonight that we have a plan for you. We have a plan to put you first. And I want us to understand tonight that the only way you could be put first is by putting yourselves first, by voting on the 1st of September for the palm, both at the top and at the bottom, so that the APNU could return to office. Friends of Ithaca, many a day that are running through this village, running through the community, and they are telling you not to support the coalition. Yes, we know, and we hear. But I want you to understand tonight that the same people, they are sitting with this government, and many of them said that they were going to join the PPP so that they can bring betterment, or rather development, to you, the people. Check on those who went, and check to see what they have done for the community since they went. We intend as a government to not only decentralize agriculture across every region, but we intend to provide loans and grants for every small to medium-sized farmer. We intend as a government, Ithaca, to put you first by ensuring that we provide the necessary education and training for all our farmers. And those services will be decentralized to every single neighborhood democratic council. That is how the government puts its people first. Ithaca, we intend to ensure that you, the people who are our hard-working public servants, not only work, but that you be paid properly. And so come September the 2nd, when the APNU takes office, we will ensure that the salaries of every single public sector worker is raised by 35%. That is a promise that we are making, and we can keep, and we know that we will do well on that promise. We have done it before, my friends. We gave from 2015 to 2020 77% without any oil money. And if we could have done it then, I dare say that we will do it again, because you, the people of Ithaca and Guyana, are the people that matters most to us. Further to that, we intend as a government to increase the PAYE, the tax threshold, to $400,000. That is one way in which you will continue to keep your money in your pocket, because many of our public servants will now be taken off of the role of paying taxes and now have tax-free salaries. Friends of Ithaca, we also intend to ensure that you, the hard-working public servants, those in the Guyana Police Force, those in the Guyana Defense Force, that you enjoy a basic minimum wage of $200,000. That is what you do for putting your people first. Friends of Ithaca, I want you to understand that the coalition government, this APNU coalition government, means business. And so tonight, I want to remind us that it was this government that brought stability to Guyana. It was this government that brought peace to Guyana. It was this government that you could have sent your small children on the road without being afraid of what will happen to them. Region 5, how can we go to the ballot and not remember Joel and Isaiah Henry? How can we go to the ballot and not remember Harry Singh? I want to say to you tonight, on the dying bed, Harry Singh's grandmother cried. She cried to the very wicked PPP, and she asked them, when will I get justice for my grandson? I am announcing to you tonight that that woman died and did not receive justice for her grandson. Further to that, the mother of Joel died, the mother of Isaiah died, and none of them received justice before their death. The very air finale said that he will leave no stone unturned. My friends, the guy did not turn any stone because no justice was brought to the families. The same is true when we look at Linden and we examine what happened recently with Fortuny and others. And most recently, when you see and you understand, you heard with your own ears, you saw with your own eyes, that Adriana Young, she was murdered, and that this government covered up the murder. When you go to the ballots, my friends, Adriana Young is on the ballot. When you go to the polls, my friends, high cost of living is on the ballot. When you go to the polls, discrimination, marginalization, and victimization, they too are on the ballot, because that is what the PPP stands for. They discriminate, they marginalize, and they victimize in every fashion and form. Our public servants after 2020, they were at edge. They were all afraid of what next will happen. And many of you will know, right here among us, we have public servants who were sent home at the brink of the PPP taking office. And I want to say to you that some of those very public servants, the government in some cases said that they were redundant. And the next month, they began to rehire people. This government doesn't care about you. And so, Ithaca, I want to bring it home tonight. You have always supported the coalition, and you have always done it well. And so I want to say to you tonight, let us continue on the same trend. Let us not change course, because we cannot gamble with our votes. We cannot make a mistake this time. We will not change course. Ithaca will go green, and Ithaca will stand green come the 1st of September. And so we got to vote them out. Many of them are saying to you in Ithaca and the surrounding communities of Blairmont that when we get into office, we will close the Blairmont Sugar Estate. Lie, far from the truth. We have long said that we will not only keep Gaisuku alive, but we will diversify what Gaisuku is presently doing. And we will introduce other areas of farming, and we will ensure that Gaisuko survives and Gaisuko will see growth and development under an APNU government. We will train, we will upskill, and we will retool the workers at Gaisuko so that they can come to have the necessary skills and expertise to work in every field that we intend to diversify in Gaisuku. And so tonight, my friends, let the fear go. Say to them when you go to work tomorrow that the APNU says that we will not close the Blairmont Estate. It is a lie. It is not true. I want to talk to you in closing about this young man that keeps running around Region 5, and many are saying that sometimes he wants to make himself or behave as though he's Lord. Teachers were complaining about how he operates when he wants to go into the schools. And now he's coming into communities and trying to dictate how people must vote. But Ithaca, let me leave this with you tonight. When you see Faisal Jafar Ali, tell Faisal Jafar Ali, MP Jordan say, carry up. He must not intimidate you. He must not tell you what to do. He must not stop you from voting for who you want to vote. He must not tell you where to go and when to go. You are independent, and Jafar Ali does not have any control over your life. And so, friends, when we vote on the 1st of September, we are not only getting rid of the People's Progressive Party Civic, but we're going to be sending Jafar Ali and all the others packing to where they belong. And so Ithaca, we have done it before, and we can do it again. And so I want to leave with you. Let us vote, and vote solidly. Come the 1st of September, let us vote for the palm. Can we raise our hands with the palm and palm it up? This is what we're voting for, the palm of the hand. And Ithaca will support and do so exceedingly come the 1st of September. I thank you.
Ithaca, when you license to speak and pay to talk, you don't want to finish. Tonight, we're crunching down Ithaca. Regardless from the MP, all he was telling us is about a good life after September 1. A good life. Ithaca, the race is on. It's a couple more days. I'm losing track of the count. A couple more days to go. Joint service will be going to the poll first. Police officers, soldiers in Ithaca, vote for the good life. Vote for the palm, the good life. Vote Takabars. So our last speaker is a man of the people. He's a leader of the PNCR, leader all the time, leader of the opposition, a man who stood his ground. He didn't jump here and jump there and jump here and jump. He waited his turn. And when you wait your turn, you get good things in return. When you wait your turn, you get good things in return. So he waited his turn. He waited to be the leader. He waited to be the opposition leader. And now he's waiting to be the president of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana. A man who will tell us tonight that he is going to give us a better life. Ithaca, I can't wait for the better life. I can't survive on 41,000. I'm a pensioner. I'm waiting for the 100,000 come second earth. We waiting for things. So help me tonight to welcome no other than Aubrey, madam. Aubrey, Compton, Northern, blow your thing on your hand, blow, ready to talk, then you blow, now your hand, blow. Listen up, Ithaca, listen up.
Good evening, Ithaca. Good evening, Ithaca. It's always a pleasure to be here. I always tell people that when we came to government in 2015, if not the first, among the first villages I visited was Ithaca. And I visited then because the People's Progressive Party was discriminating against them and they were not seeing development. And so I engaged Ithaca. And since then, and even before, we have developed a relationship. You know, I want you to read on that board. Rural Agriculture Infrastructure Development, RAID. When we came to government in 2015, people here couldn't farm. They lacked equipment. They lacked drainage and irrigation. And under that program, we began to help farmers in regions 4 and 5 to be able to produce. And they began the process and was doing well until 2020, when Air Finale and that thing he calls an agriculture minister destroyed the program. I want to say to you, Ithaca, on returning to government, you will once again be able to be involved in agriculture and produce your own food. I have said many places, and I say it here again tonight, our aim is to make every village sustainable. Our aim is to make every region agriculturally sustainable. And we say that because we believe when a people produce their own food, they develop a certain level of independence and they develop the level of dignity they deserve to have. The People's Progressive Party has this bad habit of trying to make people poor so they can control them. They believe the world should be structured in a way where for them is prosperity, for the others is poverty. We said to you, we aim to take you out of poverty. And the policies and programs we are going to put in place will be aimed at taking you, the people of Ithaca, and all people in Guyana out of poverty. I see poverty as a crime. I see poverty as something that deprives children with ability from realizing that ability. I see poverty as creating difficulties for people regardless. And therefore, we have placed high on our agenda the elimination of poverty from this country. We believe it makes no sense to be saying that this is the fastest growing economy in the world and at the same time the fastest growing level of poverty. And so we set out to eradicate poverty. I want to say to you, Ithaca, I notice on the billboards, the PPP has the pomposity and the audacity to put free university education. Let us get the facts clear. Without oil, in 1976, Burnham brought free education at the university level to Guyana. And therefore, this president, I hope, is not dunceness and he forget. Because I believe it's a barefaced lie. He knows full well that they met free education at the university. And he knows full well that in 1994, it is the People's Progressive Party that took away education from the people of Guyana that was free at UG. So do not be a hypocrite. Don't come and polish your failures on a billboard. People aren't stupid. Our memories are not as short as yours. You know, I am amazed at the PPP and the memory. They just remember what Burnham do in 1964, 1967, but they can't remember Jack Doe corruption in this period. Remember everything that Burnham did, but they don't remember that they built a Skelton sugar factory that never produced an ounce of sugar. They can't remember that they spent billions on a fiber optic cable that never came out the ground except when people stealing it for copper. They can't remember that they promised a packaging factory that will help and boost Guyana. They don't remember that. They can't even remember that a journalist asked him a question and he stammered in public for the first time. Sue. It amazes me that they can't remember things that were recent, but they always find something to curse in 1964 and 1965. But sometimes I believe it is true that they don't remember. They don't come over as people with brains. You know, I say this to you. As somebody who served in the diplomatic service, every time I see Irfan Ali on the international stage, I feel embarrassed. You know, if you have a command of the English language, if you know to pronounce words, and then you hear a president who lacks the ability to pronounce basic words, you feel embarrassed. And I think we must end the embarrassment. We must elect people who can represent us at the international level. And I said to you, the APNU has the best list in these elections. We do not have patients. We have real doctors. You are Dr. Todd. Compare him to patient Anil Nandlal. You would have heard at some time Dr. Terence Campbell. Compare him to patient Jack Doe. You would have heard many of the people on our list. And when you hear them, you hear quality. You hear people who can govern a country. And that is why I said to you, the task is yours to go out there on September 4th and vote overwhelmingly for the APNU. It is we who have the policies to solve the problems in Guyana. My friends, I said to you, we are putting people first. And we are putting people first because we believe people matter. We are going to focus on training on our human resources so that our young people can get jobs. It is a sad thing to hear a country bringing truck drivers from Bangladesh and you have a lot of unemployed young people. I say to you who are young, unemployed and young, you can look forward to us training you in the trades and other areas so that you can get employment that pays and pays properly in this country. I'm saying to you, right now I think the Board of Industrial Training pays 6,000 to people that you are training. That they can't do for them to attend the training. I want to say this to you this evening. When we become the government, the Board of Industrial Trainees will get the same 50,000 we offer people in tertiary education. And we are giving them it because we believe they deserve it. And we believe if they get it, they will stay in the training program and improve themselves. But the PPP doesn't care about people. They have grave difficulty sharing the wealth of this country with the people. We are saying to you, we are going to put money in your pocket. We have developed a number of programs that will put money in your pocket. I must speak to the rent-to-own program. We have seen the problems of housing in this country, and we are developing two approaches that will ensure that the people of Guyana get houses. First, we're saying we are going to build houses, rent them to the people, and when the rent that they are paying cover the cost of the house will become theirs. And that is why we call it a rent to own, because you will rent it with an agreement to own it. And once you fulfill that agreement, that house will become yours. But we also intend to give both rent relief and mortgage relief. We have a lot of young people, and this is a practical example I'm giving you. One evening I was out liming, and a young indigenous teacher came over to me and said, look, I'm a teacher. I'm from the interior, but I'm posted here in Guyana, in Georgetown. And she said that she drew, I think, 120 or 130 a month. But she spent most of that on rent. And then I said to her, teachers, nurses who find themselves in that position will benefit from rent assistance from the APNU government. And I will honor that promise. The same is true about mortgage. I believe that we have to pay more attention to the people that do not have. In our approach, we will give less to those who have a lot and more to those who do not have. The Irfan Ali administration, in carrying out the petty, small increases they give the average man 10%. When you are working for $10,000 and you get 10%, you get 10,000. But he who is working for $3 million, 10% is 300,000. So every time they increase the wages and salary, they increase the gap between the rich and the poor. We say to you, the increase to the bottom will be high, and at the top, it will be negligible, very little, because our aim is to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. We want to see a society in which there are proper institutions. We have nothing against decent, honest policemen and women. In fact, we believe if the police is allowed to do their work, they will do it properly. There will always be one and two arrogant and sometimes stupid. But the majority of the policemen and women in this country try to do an honest job. They try to live up to the task of enforcing the law. But this government, which is wicked, this government, which is malicious, has controlled the police force leadership, and so the policemen are not allowed to do their job. Guyana is the only country I know that technology, they stop working when PPP people commit a crime and start back working when ordinary people commit a crime. What that says to me is that the PPP has no interest in the rule of law. Their interest is in ensuring they become pompous and make the eyes pass people. And so we will have to end that. And we warn them that in the new dispensation, they will not be allowed to call the police to brutalize, intimidate, and incarcerate ordinary people who did not commit a crime. While at the same time, you have one with 19 fraud charges running around like if these charges are a badge of honor. You have one who I call the bald-head rat. I don't care how much he's annoyed, but he's a bald-head rat. Who should have been under investigation, but the police cannot investigate him. We're saying to you, we're going to restore the police to being a professional entity so that when people break the law, they feel the full force of the law. My friends, Guyana has oil money, but this government is putting us in danger. Any sensible country in the world that develops oil and saw the experience of the previous governments that handle oil money recklessly will know that if you are getting $1 billion from oil, it makes no sense to spend all out. Before we left government, we put in place legislation. And in that legislation, you could not spend out all the money from oil. And if you are going to go in to the treasury to get oil money, it had to be for specific projects that were approved by a competent authority. This government came and changed it. And they changed it because puss jumped their hand. And when puss jump your hand, you must teeth. So what have they done? They changed the rules so that they can take 95% of the money out of the Natural Resource Fund. It might sound simple, but every time they take that money and put that money into so-called infrastructure in which their family, friends, and favorites do poor work and get rich, the people get poorer. And so we will restore the Natural Resource Fund to the point where at least 25% of the income must go to the fund as savings. Oil is not going to be there all the time. I heard Jack Dew saying, he sung like another president, drill baby drill, drill baby drill. I wonder which hole he's talking about. Because by the time he finished drilling, Guyana is in a hole. I think he's accustomed to drilling. But I would say to you, we don't want that kind of wild drilling. We don't want drilling for enjoyment. We want drilling in which we utilize some and save some for the bad days. And that is why we will have a natural resource fund in which there are savings for future generations. Let us not forget, oil prices go up and they come down. And if you spend it well, when the price is down, you will be in difficulties. And this is what we are saying to you. We're saying to you We're going to use the oil resources to do infrastructural projects that will allow new lands for housing, new lands for business. And that is why we say we will have the intra-regional highways where we will link all 10 regions. Imagine a Guyana in which you can leave Georgetown and drive to the Rupununi. Imagine a Guyana where you can leave Georgetown and drive and end up at Mabaruma. For those of you who travel the interior, you will know the large expanse of land. And we are aiming to put intrastate highways to ensure we can access those lands. Because when those lands are accessed, new buildings, new businesses will develop and there will be more money in the economy. We intend to take money from oil to develop the agro-processing sector. We have already said we will have sustainable agriculture in all 10 regions. But once you do that, you're going to produce a lot of food. And therefore, you need to do a number of things. Don't behave like you find them, you're producing, you throw away. You will have to have storage. You will have to have markets to sell. So we will have an organized and structured approach to agricultural development. And then we will become involved in agro-processing. So rather than wasting the agricultural products, we are going to process them into products that we can sell overseas and ensure that income comes to this economy. We have to have a rounded development plan. You know, all of us welcome the bridge being free. And that, we're glad we could drive over it free. But what y'all know is a scheme to pay Jagneo people who invest in it money. So it is the second big robbery that is coming. You see, they give you a ticket when you go over, and then they're going to collect it and say they owe them so much and got to pay them with interest. Everything that Jagneo does is a scheme to put money in their own pockets. And they go around African Guyanese community fooling them. Oh, we will give you contracts. If I give you a little contract for 10 million and I got to spend 9 million of that to get equipment and everything from you, I barely going with $1 million. At the same time, you give critic 800 million to do nothing. Till now, he can't finish the pump station. I don't know what he's still pumping. You know, it is that ridiculous. And so, they raise the question, how are you going to pay for these things? You know, we said we will give 100,000 to pensioners. We will increase salaries by 35% and ensure people get 200,000 minimum. 200,000 as minimum wage. And he get out there his bald self and saying, oh, they're unrealistic. They can't finance it. Let me say this to you. The things we have identified are 35% of this present $1.4 trillion budget. And so the present budget could finance it. We're not talking about the increase in income we will have. The present budget could finance it. But this is the boy Jagneo. The boy is lyric. The boy lies so much that he don't know truth. When we first talk about cash grant, cash transfer, he said that unrealistic. You remember that? Can't happen. I even invited him to debate on the issue, but he won't come. He won't come. And he said it's unrealistic. Then when he recognized it is becoming popular with the Guyanese people, he announced, we paying he said first we paying 200,000 per household. And then we told him, you know, with the COVID when you went for household, some households got, and households that weren't PPP got. So it's best we give everybody 18 years and above, which they did. But remember, he said it wasn't possible. But suddenly, sir, it became possible. When we start talking about returning free education to university, he said it was too costly. We said Burnham did it without oil. Why can't you? And he held out, and then in the end he comes to say, oh, we will restore free education. And now he put up on a board. You took it away. If I was a little by rolling me, roller through the street, and because you beg, you come and take it. When you give me back the roller as a gift, you return stolen property. And so we mustn't be browbeaten by them. We must understand who is the PPP regime. It is the most corrupt regime that exists. This is a regime that is spending oil money without accounting for it. This is a regime, if you vote for them, you are voting for corruption. If you vote for them, you are aligning yourself with thieves. If you vote for them, you are voting for people who cover up children murder. If you vote for them, you are voting for people who refuse to give teachers a proper increase and left them out there for 75 days. Let us know what you are voting for. You are voting for a regime that believes in extrajudicial killing. Do you want to vote for a government and when your child leaves home, you have no assurance that they are coming back home? If you want that, then you could vote for that cabal that sits there. We are urging you to vote for a government that is going to change the situation. We are saying to you, we are going to restore the rule of law. We will ensure that the police live within the confines of the law and serve the people of Guyana. You know, this world is a nice world. They're going on, Muhammad is the worst person on earth. You know? I hold no brief from Muhammad because he's more in we constituency than any other one. So I gain the impression sometimes he's working for the PPP. But I'm watching. I ain't commenting yet, I'm watching. But I want to say this. You provide outriders for this man run a Lamborghini throughout this country. After the last election, you use every vehicle he had. His father said that when they come to power in 1992, they had 4 guns. He only was 1. You know? So we have got to look and see. Now suddenly this man is the worst man on earth. If he the bad sins with you. So don't come to us with nonsense. But we are saying to you, there will be no more like that. Every Guyanese will be expected to live within the confines of the law. We say to Guyanese, have no fear. Every Guyanese will get their fair share. Because we believe each and every individual is entitled to benefit from the oil money of this country. And we have a problem when the People's Progressive Party and their cronies can benefit and the average person cannot. And so we are at the point where we do not have a choice. We have to get rid of the People's Progressive Party. If you want to wake up to bad news, let us not get them out. The last hope for Guyana is the APNU. The last hope for Guyana is the APNU. I want to say this. We must get into the head of every youth to say to them, have sense. Don't spoil your vote. Don't waste your vote. Them little thing with the calling party is fit. That is last for a night till the promoter plan another one. You don't want to be involved in a fit. You don't want to support a fit. You need to support a party that has the ability to remove the People's Progressive Party from power, and a party that has the resources and people to govern this country. We say to you that the best government you can elect is an APNU government. We say to you that the youths will benefit under us. We can give you all no bogus online scholarship. I think because Irfan know he degree already, he decided he want a whole Guyana with not ready degrees. A man tried to find a university via Typhlood. Now, every Guyanese knows that there is no university at Typhlood. And so even at the level of the education, they're behaving in a fraudulent manner. We are saying to you, we will have online training, but with credible institutions. We are saying to you, we are going to put resources into the University of Guyana to develop its capacity to do both in-house training and online training. Because we believe training is fundamental and critical to the development of Guyana. We have an oil contract in which we need to train people to monitor and evaluate what ExxonMobil is doing. We will train those people because we believe education is critical to the development of the people. You know, some people might take lightly a decision we made that is in our manifesto. That is that four-wheel, four-door vehicles will now only pay 15% of its cost in duty. I'll tell you how important is this. It will allow the small man to get a vehicle to do his business, while at the same time, he can use it as a family vehicle because it's four-door and it has the space. This decision will help people in agriculture. It will help people in industry. It will help every person in this country. And so I want you to recognize that it is a critical decision we made so that the people of Guyana can have transportation that serves both the domestic purpose and the commercial purpose. And so we must let the people of Guyana know that this particular measure will impact them in a positive way. Guyana has the resources. What it lacks is a government that is willing to ensure the resources meet the people. And we said to you, we are the government that will ensure that the resources from oil and gas meet you, the people of Guyana. And we are committed to that. We want to see a Guyana in which the streets are free of beggars. It's a sad thing to walk Georgetown in the nights and see people sleeping all over. And then you got people who fly into Dubai to buy bag. That's the society we live in. We will change that. We want a society in which Guyanese must be well trained. We want a society in which Guyanese feel respected. We want a society in which there are opportunities for all Guyanese. And I say this to you, if you want that society, you must recognize that if Guyana is to grow, the PPP must go. There is no hope under the People's Progressive Party. I want you to follow their pronouncement. Sometimes I believe Irfan and Jagdeo are two photocopy machines. If I say something today, they come with the same thing the next day. They got to be Xerox. But we have more ideas to put out. And as it comes closer down and we put them out, they ain't got enough time for repackaging. They should be called a repackage party. Anything you say, they come with it by a new name. The man is so barefaced. Yesterday or day before yesterday, they have created the first early childhood education center with night possibilities. We built 6 early childhood education centers in this country without oil resources. One is right here in Ithaca. And if you look at it, it is organized in a way where there are beds, etc. And all they have to do is to activate, train more people and activate a nighttime shift. And people will be able to go to work and leave their children in a safe environment. And so he come now with the early childhood education approach. But we glad when he follows me. Once he follows me, we know we lead him. And he following. And so, my friends at Ithaca, we have to recognize that a PPP means no good for Ithaca. You should have, in the last 5 years, had your equipment which we bought for you and doing significant agriculture. And everybody in Ithaca must remember that it is the PPP that deprive you of equipment to do the agriculture you need to develop. And this is not fabrication, you know it. And that's why I'm saying it here in Ithaca. So my friends, I urge you to come out on September 1st. Put your X next to the palm. One at the top for the general elections, one at the bottom for the regional elections. I say to you, speak to every youth in your community. Ensure they understand the importance of voting the People's Progressive Party out of office. They mean no good for Guyana. And so, friends, I urge you, think through everything. Focus on the task ahead. We have one fundamental task to commit. That task is to mobilize and organize every Guyanese to get rid of the People's Progressive Party. That is the task before us. They must become afraid of the palm. You ever watch a Chinese picture? You ever watch a Chinese picture? Whenever a man got a bad palm, you're gone. We must palm them out of power. We must ensure we stay focused. And that at the end of the 1st of September, the APNU must be the next government of Guyana. I urge you to let Guyana grow. That means let the PPP go. I thank you and have a good evening.
Ithaca, I know y'all listen.